Okay, students, this is Dr. Miller, and I'm going to talk about assignment 1 and a few other things here. Here we are at the home page, and as you may have noticed, I keep the home page really quite sparse. There's basically just announcements, and then over here, this will show you what is the new material that is being added to the course all the time. So let's go to our assignment 1 tab here. And here's what you're going to do for assignment 1. First off, you're going to watch this very video that you're already watching. So that's what you're going to do. And the point of this is to get you to create a Facebook business page. And we'll talk about that more. And then I want you to read the articles. And the articles are in this folder, and each assignment will have readings and videos for that particular assignment. So there's a number of readings in here. The only video is the one you're watching. But we want to talk about a couple of things in these readings. Some of them are just sort of a general introduction to social media and to social media strategy. I want you to start thinking as if you are actually working somewhere where the various social media channels that you will be using is basically your job. So you're going to be learning about how to do your job. So these are different articles that are more or less talking about the bigger picture of things. Now, there is this one here that is this is a video, and it's a 1-hour video too. It's way longer than most any video you'll see in this course. But it's important, and it's sort of coming at it from something we're not going to talk about right away, but it's talking about sort of the science of social media. And that is to be able to analyze what is happening with your Facebook page, for example, and what are the engagement points and how successful you are with it. So that's really important, but I wanted you to kind of get the idea of what that's all about. So that's why you're going to watch that video. Most of these readings are really very short. They're essentially blog posts. They're not very long at all. Now these down here, these are the ones that you really want to pay attention to, because they're going to be talking about how you should create your Facebook page for business. Now let's stop for a minute and talk about what it is to be a business user, okay? So when we say business, it's not necessary that you actually own your own business. I've had students that used different organizations and businesses in the course when they've taken it to be sort of the entity that they're using throughout. I don't want you to have multiple entities. You're going to have one entity. Now, what does that mean? Well, it could be an actual business. I had a student, I think 2 years ago, whose family owned a restaurant. It's a restaurant that many of you that live in Marshall County would know. And they actually benefited because the daughter who took the class was able to do real things for that real business. So that was kind of cool. If you have that type of connection, if you have a relative that has a business, or if you have some other entry point, perhaps you already have a job and it's at a small business that needs to do more with social media. If you're working for a big company, you're really not going to be able to do much about it because they have their own marketing and their own social media people. I've also had a number of students that have used organizations, even at Sneed State. For example, athletic teams and clubs, organizations, also community organizations, churches, for example. I've had several students that used a church or a ministry or something like that. That's all good. It could be a not-for-profit organization and that works a lot as well. So that's what we're going to get to. But let's continue on this for just a little bit, and then we'll come back to the Facebook page stuff, okay? So you're going to read the material, and then we're going to go back into the folder, and you're going to see that there is assignment 1 instructions, and I'm going to go there in just a minute. And there is also a discussion. Blackboard offers this discussion forum feature, and it's really something I like using a lot. You don't have to do them every week. For this particular mini-term session, there's 4, and they're worth 15 points apiece. They're real simple, and honestly, they don't take you hardly any time at all to do them, so there's really no reason to not do them. Now, when you are done reading the material and you are ready to read the instructions on what to do with this, we're going to go here now. So this is a PDF file, and it talks about what you're going to be doing in this first one. So this is the business or organizational entity, and what you're going to do is you're going to go to Facebook, and you really need to start at your own page, your personal page first, because even though we're doing a business page, you really need to start with your own personal page. Now, once you're on your own page, this is my page right now, you're going to come up here, and you see this little down arrow here. When you click on that, if you are managing multiple pages, they're going to show up here. And I actually manage several pages, so there's the list of all of them. And it lets me switch back and forth between these different pages I manage while basically staying logged in as me. What you're going to do here to create your new page, though, is you're going to go to Create Page. 2 options here. One of them is the business or brand, and the other is the community or public figure. And they're slightly different, but they both will work for this course. Let's get started here. And what you're going to need to do first is you're going to have to come up with your name of your page. Now, if you're doing something that's already been done, or if you're doing something that already has a regular Facebook page, then you'll have to get a little more creative with the name. So for example, if you wanted to do Sneed State Volleyball, well, if you typed in Sneed State Volleyball, it's going to say that's already taken, you can't do it. But if you put in Sneed State Volleyball Fall 2018, it's going to say, oh, nobody has that page, so you can create it. So let's just create a fictitious company. Okay, so that's my company's name, and then I'm going to create a category for it. And what is the category? Well, let's say you're a retail and you sell golf balls. Now, you see how it popped up when I started typing in here? So what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these. If, for example, you're doing a restaurant, that's where you'd go. If you're doing a law firm, if you're doing a real estate agency, if you're doing sports and recreation, these are all business kinds of things. Well, let's just click on local business. You actually have to put a street address in here. So we'll do that, and we'll do it. And you notice how it already knows Boaz. Many people know Boaz. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to continue. And now I can start going in, and it's going to step me through these different steps. Before you do this, make sure you read those 2 articles about how to set up your business. Let's go back and let's try this other thing. This is a page name for a community or public figure. Let's say you wanted to be a blogger. You're going to write your own blog. So you can actually say Larry's blog on sports, and we're going to put it in a category. Okay, so there's sports. You can have like a sports club. You can have a motivational speaker. Some of these kind of border over on businesses, but not necessarily. So say you're into wine. You can have Larry's wine blog, and you'd call it wine and spirits, okay? So I'm just going to use that category, and now we're into that sort of thing where we're stepping through that. These are in some of the interfaces that show up. There's different ways to do things on Facebook. You probably know that. And so if you kind of come at it a little different direction, you can see these various organizations and brands or products and these different categories, and it may give you that representation. This time I actually didn't see it, so I'm not too sure what that means, but you're going to get to the same place, okay? So only a business page will allow you to do the kinds of activities that you need to do for this class. Only a business page is going to have the ability to run advertising, for example. Now, what you want to boost people's ability to see your page is to create engagement. And the simplest form of business page engagement is to like the page. So some of the things we're going to do is we're going to try and create the page, and then we're going to grow as many likes as we can during the limited time available to us on a Mini 2 term. In your own personal pages, you have friends, but on your business page, you have likes. So that's really, really important, and that's why you got to do it. At this point, don't worry too much about the graphics, and the reason is next week we're going to be doing graphics, and you can go back and you can change them, okay? But what is important is you can start making your first post. You can create an actual post. You should also go in and let me show you a page I've been helping on with this local real estate company here. Over on this side of the page, these are called tabs, and you can change them around. We'll get into this a little bit more in terms of order and also in terms of what's on or what's not. But it's really, really important that you have this section here called About. Fill out all of this information that you can. Put a little descriptor over here. What is the story of your business? And this is a place where you can put a graphic. And again, you don't have to do this now. You can come back in there. Okay, so that's really what we're looking at with a business page. And we will be getting more and more involved on your Facebook page, but you got to start now with it. And then over the next couple of weeks, we'll be adding some more of your social media channels to this. Okay, let's go back to the instructions. And this is going to tell you what to turn in. The instructions for each assignment will always have this, what to turn in. So for this first assignment, you're going to give me the URL of your Facebook business page. What is the URL? Well, it's in a browser. It's this thing up here, which can be really long. Okay, but it's really important in Facebook that you understand. Here's another page that I work on. That what I see when I'm the administrator of this page is not what the public sees. So if I capture this URL and turn it in, it's not going to let me see it, because basically when you are creating your page, it's private. Clicking next to the share, 3 dots, come down and view as page viewer. So I'm going to click that, and notice how the URL up here changes. It also gives me a message that says this is what your page looks like to a visitor. So this is the URL, and you would highlight it, and then you're going to copy it. Okay? So when we get back to what is the assignment and what to turn in, I want that URL of your Facebook business page. So I'll show you where to put it. And then I want a brief statement about how you found this experience of creating your Facebook page to be. Did you have any difficulties? If so, what were they? You can also start to collect your likes. Now, you'll find in there that there's a place where you can invite friends to like your page. That's what you need to do first. Also, when we get all of the Facebook pages from all the students in the class, it's not a big class, but we'll post those and you can help each other out by liking each other's page. Why are likes a big deal with Facebook? Well, Facebook has what is called their algorithm, and that's their rules that say what people see. And basically, Facebook structures this so that the more engagement you have on your page, the broader the audience of people that will see your page. And the other big factor on getting your page seen is advertising. And we'll talk about that later in the class. But so you're going to copy that visitor view URL, and then you're going to write a little statement about how this worked for you. And then we're going to, how many likes did you get? You may not get many this first week in particular. And then it says don't forget to create a thread in the discussion, but we'll come back to that in a second. First, I want to go, and every time there's an assignment, you're going to see within the assignment folder, assignment 1, you're going to see something that says assignment, whatever, submit here. Okay? So when you click on that, it's going to give you some information like this is due on the 28th, which is the next Sunday, and it's going to be due at 11:59 p.m., stroke of midnight, and it's worth 30 points. Now, there's 2 ways that you can turn things in. This is real simple because it's not very lengthy. You don't have to create a separate document to do it. So you're just basically going to click on Write Submission, and then you're going to type here. And you're going to paste in like that URL. Okay? And then you're going to tell me how the experience was, and you're going to tell me how many likes you got. And then you're going to come over and click Submit. Now, if you have an assignment that requires you to create a separate document, then you're going to create the document, and then you're going to browse your computer to find that document, and then when you find that document, you put it in here and then submit. So when you do that, that's how you complete your assignment. Now let's go quickly over to discussions here, okay? And there's 2 ways to get to the discussion. One is going to be just go straight to discussion, and there's discussion 1. Or you can do it within the assignment, and there is a link to discussions. So this is just a general thing about discussions, and this link will take you to a Blackboard section that helps you out as students in terms of how to do the discussion. Now, some classes may have you do a lot of talking to each other on the discussions, but we don't do that. What we're going to do is we're going to click on that. It's going to tell you a couple of things. One, you're going to see what's called a thread. And you see this button up here, Create Thread. We're going to come back to that. But right here, you will see the thread that I created. In order to give you an idea of how to do this, I actually created my own thread. So here I'm saying, this is my social media profile. I want to know what are the social media channels that you personally use and a little bit about them. So I'm telling you about Facebook, I'm telling you about Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And then here are some examples, okay? So that's how that works. To do this, you go to Create Thread. Okay, and this is the essentially the instructions. So here's the platforms that you personally use, how often do you post, who do you engage with, and that sort of thing. Now for your thing, I want you to put in discussion 1, or you can put in my social media profile and then your name. Okay, so that becomes your thread. Now I noticed that there's a student that has already completed this assignment, which is good in a way, but she didn't create her own thread. She actually attached it to my thread. I can find it if you do that, but really the right thing to do is to use this Create Thread. So for assignment 1, you're going to, this is the part where I'm summarizing now. You're going to watch this video that you're watching. You're going to read the articles and watch that one video that's in there. You're going to complete your social media profile in discussion, and then you're going to complete your assignment with your business entity and your business Facebook page in its earliest form. Please go into the About area and do what you can to fill that out. But you're going to be adding to this. And then you're going to actually do that Submit Here thing. If you hear a growling dog, that's my Corgi. And throughout this course, you may well hear Flynn Rider, the Corgi, making a comment or two. But anyway, that's how this all works. So good luck, and please remember, just send me a message if you have any issues at all.